Masquerades as a mobster to help a friend who's been seduced into murder for money.
We're talking about $10 million.
Dark Justice tonight. Come to a place where fantasies become reality.
It's magic.
And where anything can happen. When Hearts Are Wild premieres January 10th.
This is CBS.
Over $3 million in new and used car and truck inventory is on sale now during Sunny Honda Mazda and Sunshine Toyota's year-end marathon sale. Toyota Camrys and Corollas, Mazda pickups and 626s, Honda Civics, Accords, Toyota pickups, they're all specially priced for this huge year-end sale. Nothing will be held back. Big factory-to-dealer incentives and low interest rates means you save thousands. Over 350 vehicles are available for this year-end marathon sale, and it's happening now at Sunshine Toyota and Sunny Honda Mazda in Battle Creek. Hurry, the sale ends at year-end.
Looking for great values? Jewel's got all you need. Savings on meat, foods ready to go, healthy foods, fresh ones, all priced low. Ring in the new year with savings on boneless top sirloin steak, just $1.99 a pound. Farm stand large head lettuce, only 49 cents a head. And Pepsi, 7-Up, Coke, or RC, just $2.99 a 12-pack. All kinds of savings on all the things you need. All the more reason to take a new look at an old friend, Jewel.
How do you know? Is it safe to go out on the ice at 11?
Good evening. Tonight we're here to discuss the meaning of life. To me, the meaning of life is a good cigar, the sound of laughter, a double martini, and a pretty girl. But not exactly in that order. Other people have this to say about the meaning of life.
I find joy in my work. I love to cut meat. How are you? You want to cut this in stew or leave it in one piece? I don't know. I feel like I'm on a stage here. This is my stage. Cutting meat is an art to me, still. All day long, I can listen to Pavarotti and cut meat. The meat flies faster, the work gets done, and I enjoy it more. The meaning of life to me is listening to Pavarotti, feeling the sun on my face, good health, and a loving wife, the smell of a new car, the ocean air, and coming home with a fish, and not a fish story.
The meaning of life is looking at your tombstone and saying, born 1933, died 2033. Can't get enough of it.
The meaning of life to me is to be able to push yourself or oneself beyond that final frontier, to not be afraid to go out and discover what you don't know is there.
I think the meaning of life to me is letting the world know that you were here. You know, that you meant something. You know, that you carved out a mark that people can look at many, many years after you're gone and say, yes, that's what it's about. I think that's what it means to me.
I guess about life and what's important about life to me, I guess is to be aware that you're not the only one in this world. There are so many millions of other people that you can share with. And being just a person with other people together.
To me, the whole meaning of life is to appreciate a good dinner, good wife, fat baby.
Good people, nice people. That gives me great joy. It makes life worth living. That's the meaning of life.
I think the reason we are here is because it was too crowded where we were supposed to go. I've been living my life the whole time, and I consider it something else to do.
My goal as a scientist is to develop mechanisms which can aid in the rehabilitation of the physically abnormal person. I find joy in when I struggle and when I'm going through tremendous physical and psychological pain, and when that's resolved into accomplishment and pleasure, when I finally step into the light. That's wonderful. That's my passion.
Hugh Herr's remarkable story began in the winter of 1982, when he and a friend were lost for 4 days on the blizzard-swept slopes of Mount Washington. Rescued after a massive search, Hugh's feet were so frostbitten that they had to be amputated below the knees.
When I was in the hospital after my legs were amputated, my doctors told me that I would not be able to return to my chosen sport of mountain climbing. And my response to their comments was to jump back on the horse again. And I designed specialized prosthetic limbs that enabled me to return to mountain climbing again. And I came to the conclusion that what's important is how I affect the world around me. Can I make this a better place, a better planet, a better place to live for future generations? That's what's important. A few years ago when I started college, the first day I came in and I was 5'7", and every day I increased my height by an inch. And finally someone says, "What is going on here?" And I said, "Well, college is a growing experience." I just took up the sport of rollerblading the other day. It's highly unstable, but I love it. I enjoy living on the edge. I do things not because they're easy, but because they're hard. I'll try anything. If I can't do it, I'll develop the technology that will enable me to. So there's nothing I cannot do. I am not disabled. I began playing tennis a month ago. I believe it's a wonderful sport. I'm having a good time. I look at it as exercise. My goal as a human being is to help people. I dream of a day when technology will free the human race of all physical disability. A day when the blind will see, the deaf will hear, and amputees will be running marathons and winning. My goal is to be a small part of that dream.
Most important thing that ever happened to me was I was 24. I met Gracie. We teamed up. We were a team for 40 years. Good girl, Gracie. Gracie got all the laughs on the stage. Off stage, Gracie thought I was funny. I'll never forget, we were married then about 27 years, 28 years. And she woke me up at 3 o'clock in the morning. She said, "George, I can't sleep. Make me laugh." So I made love to her and she laughed.
Stay tuned for Betty White and Natalie Cole.
Tonight, we're sharing many different views on the meaning of life. It is only fitting that we also hear from an organization dedicated to improving the quality of life. The United Way messages you will see during this program are made possible by Mazda as part of their ongoing commitment to the United Way in an effort to help change the way a few people look at life.
It all began on one of those summer afternoons so long you didn't notice when it turned into evening. There it was, the Mazda Miata. Who knew it was going to be the beginning of a whole new line of cars? Cars that don't look like every other car on the road. Cars that show there can be a whole new way to think about cars. Like a luxury sedan that actually uses the sun to cool its interior. Then a new kind of sports coupe with a breakthrough V6 and muscle car growl. The first of 5 new cars that are pure and personal. And maybe even just a little unexpected. The Miata, that was just the beginning.
From CBS This Morning, Happy New Year.
How to seduce a woman.
You're a knockout. I don't mean just pretty, no, beautiful. If men aren't attracted to you, it's totally because of your abrasive personality.
Northern Exposure, Monday. Anything can happen when Hearts Are Wild premieres January 10th.
I don't know. I think the meaning of life changes as you go through life. When I was younger, I used to think it was something like a goal, you know, where I always had a goal of being able to cross my legs in hot weather. And then I got older, and then it began to get a purpose type thing. You know, like I was put on earth for some special reason. Like, after a while, I became the only person in the house who could change a toilet tissue spindle. But then when I got older, and I thought, no, I think it's something deeper than that. Has a little more meaning than that. Because the meaning of life to me is you take all this talent that he's given you and you spend it right here on earth, every single ounce of it, to make this place a better place to live. Because that's why he gave it to you in the first place.
Now, I travel around the country and speak with kids and even visit schools. And what I've found is a lot of hope, because there are a lot of good kids out there. And I think that the future of the world is in good hands. The kids are going to be great.
We're all given this gift of life, and what you choose to do with it is kind of up to you.
For me, it's live my life, you know, and live it in a way that when I'm old and I look back and I said, gee, that was worth it, you know, I did it, I'm proud of it.
The meaning of life is different for every person because they have something else in them that makes them alive.
Maybe it's just to do the best you can with your life and to help others.
I don't think the meaning of life is one thing at the end of your life that all of a sudden you go, you know, I get it now. I think it's that it's comprised of, you know, the sum total of your experience.
I want to say, yeah, I came from a poor background and I lifted myself up, and now look at me.
I think that we should, you know, join together, stand as one, be together, and do what's right.
Realistically, the only thing that we know about the meaning of life is mortality. And so no one can say, well, this is what life means, because no one knows.
The reason I like to live is to love other people and to be loved by other people.
Today's youth might not have the full 411 with the answers, but they sure seem to understand the question. Unfortunately, they won't all have the advantage of a full education. A lot of them drop out of school as early as the 4th and 5th grades. For them, riding in the fast lane can become a way of life. I know. It almost happened to me. When I went back home, the thing that surprised me the most about seeing our neighborhood was how small it was. It hadn't changed 1 inch. Pulled back a lot of memories. It was just like being right back in the past. Funky, dangerous, scary, territorial. They had a gang for each street. You know, they had the Giles AC on Giles Street, and the vagabonds and the scorpions, and if you got caught out of the territory, it was your buns. This life has nothing to do with Chicago. You know, it could be Philadelphia, it could be New York City, it could be St. Louis or Detroit, anywhere. It's just this side of town. It's almost like a common lifestyle all over America, where you need that shot, you need that break, you need that one word of hope where somebody gives you just one word of advice that can affect the whole future of your life. And a lady lived next door to me who was 12 years old at the time, named Lucy Jackson. She played the piano. She played stride piano. And I didn't know that human beings played instruments then. That was probably where it was planted, you know.
So glad to see you.
My dream is that if a lot of people do their job well and give these kids enough information, my hope is that they will see that spot inside themselves that is really where they live intellectually and emotionally, and live to be old enough to be a problem to their children. I know one young woman who has faced all of life's demons and went on to become a superstar. Her daddy was a friend of mine, and I know he would be so proud of his daughter if he could see her today. Her name is Miss Natalie Cole.
Life begins to have meaning right here. This is a room in a grade school. It could be anywhere in the United States. Who knows? But at a little desk like this, the next Jonas Salk might be sitting. And over there, you might find an astronaut who'll go into space in 2010. And sitting right here could be the 50th President of the United States. In schoolrooms all over America, children are growing up and learning. Some of them will go on to great things. Some of them will have problems. I would like to imagine a world where all of the kids seated in all of these rooms in all of the schools across America will be able to solve their problems and eventually be able to help others. Imagine what a world we could have then.
The infinite variety of life forms on this planet has always been a source of wonder and excitement to me, as long as I can remember. I always wanted to know all about all of them. That's too much for one lifetime, so I concentrated on the four-legged creatures that have come to live with me through the years. And they taught me a lot. I saw that when they're happy, they live that moment to its fullest extent. And when things are going badly, they just kind of pull in and endure. They get through it without complaining. I've never seen them waste this moment now, regretting something that happened in the past or worrying about what might be coming up in the future. Animals live in absolute time. Maybe that's the meaning of life.
The power and the beauty of life are never more obvious than when watching animals run free. But for the wild horses of Nevada, life has become a cruel and painful existence. Once free to roam the vast desert lands, man and industry have taken away their feeding grounds and trapped them on ever-decreasing parcels of land. Without enough food or water, thousands of these horses and their colts die of starvation every year. And hundreds more would lose their lives if it weren't for the valiant efforts of one woman, Dawn Lappin.
This is Bo. This is Peaches. They were both wild. This one was brought in, don't bite. This one was brought in with was run through barbed wire, and his chest was all caved in.
Dawn has nursed hundreds of wild horses back to health on her ranch. Once healthy, the horses are put up for adoption or moved to new rangelands.
Oh, isn't he beautiful? Oh, wow. I feel that I've had a good life, and the true meaning of life to me is giving something back.
Coming up next, Marlo Thomas and Garth Brooks.
Why can't van doors swing open instead of slide? Why do minivans handle like trucks? Why can't they feel more like a car? This is what the engineers at Mazda wondered when they designed the MPV. Because when you ask better questions, you tend to come up with better answers.
Why does your door do that?
The MPV from the new Mazda.
It just feels right.
Everyone makes mistakes, Matthew. Don't pay any attention to the other children.
For this bright 6-year-old, the ABCs have never been as simple as ABC. Where do you go when you're different from the other kids? He got help at a Center for Learning Disabilities. They got help from the United Way. All because the United Way got help from you. The United Way. It brings out the best in all of us.
This is our vision of what a luxury sedan should be. Not because it offers rich leather and anti-lock brakes, but because it comes standard with an airbag on the driver's side and the passenger side as well, creating a luxury sedan where even peace of mind is shared. The new 929, the first luxury sedan from the new Mazda.
It just feels right.
I am spending my entire days trying to find out what the meaning of life is. And they tell a joke, about a guy who went all the way up to the mountains in Tibet. Finally found a real old monk. And they said to him, "What is the meaning of life?" And he says, "Beautiful days and beautiful nights." And the person said to him, No, it isn't. He says, no kidding.
You know, Dwight, Dad has always liked me best.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I've always been his favorite, don't argue.
That's right.
Dad, who's your favorite?
Me.
Davis Rules previews next Monday. In the Olympic Winter Games, a fraction of a second can separate the top 10 finishers. A split-second decision can lead to disaster. A fraction of a second can mean the dream of a lifetime. The Olympic Winter Games are coming to CBS. Don't miss a fraction of a second.
This is CBS.
Spending the night with Michigan's homeless, Jesse Jackson's mission isn't to oust Governor John Engler. The president and the homeless of Texas driven from home by floods. How can he help? Hello, West Michigan. I'm Barry Shanley. Those stories tonight. Plus, not everyone is home for the holidays. What's it like to be young and alone at Western Michigan University? Join us for those stories and meteorologist John Wendell's forecast at 11.
Come see the first annual Festival of Lights in Battle Creek. Animated displays, live entertainment, and over 500,000 lights. Great family fun is going on now.
3 days. 3 days. This Friday, Saturday, and Monday only. The 3-day saving spectacular at your West Michigan Chevy dealers. 3 days to save on Cavalier. Now with 2.9% financing for 48 months. Get savings up to $34.10 on Chevy full-size pickup. Or choose low 2.9% financing. Don't miss the 3-day saving spectacular. 3 days. This Friday, Saturday, and Monday only at your West Michigan Chevy dealers.
7 at 11, only on News 3 at 11, the new look of late-night news.
Nowhere on earth does the meaning of life express itself more powerfully to me than at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in Memphis. Seeing the faces of children who are fighting for their lives gives me the closest look I have ever had at the meaning of life. My father founded this hospital, and on that remarkable day, in 1962, when the hospital doors were opened, my father said, "Now I know why I was born." And as he cut the ribbon that opening day, I remembered the only poem he made me learn as a child. It was called Can't. Can't is a word that is foe to ambition, an enemy ambush to shatter your will. Its prey is forever a man with a mission, and bows but to courage and patience and skill. So hate it with hatred that's deep and undying, for once it is welcomed, 'twill break any man. Whatever the goal you are seeking, keep trying, and answer this demon by saying, I can. Although my father's gone, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital remains as the beautiful expression of one dreamer who said, I can. I wish you a very happy New Year, and may your biggest dream come true.
I love doing what I like to do, which is being with my family, playing tennis. What I do hopefully brings fun to other people also. I always felt that winning was always important, but it's what you gave in the meantime that really made the difference. I love putting my game and my attitude and my experience up against the great young players of today. But I'm not carrying a flag for those 35 to 45 years old. I'm out there doing what I love to do. Everybody plays great tennis. There's such a fine line between being number one and being number 100. And that is all mental. It's the ability to go beyond the fear of failure.
I love it when they say Jimmy Collins is an old-timer at the age of 40. When I was 40, I had Cupid's eczema.
I've always believed that streets are straight, houses and buildings and offices and rooms are square, but people's bodies are round, and they don't belong in there. They belong out here. I've filmed and traveled all over the world looking for the meaning of my own life, and I thought I might find it racing all different kinds of sailboats. I looked for the meaning of life windsurfing in heavy winds in Hawaii and in the Columbia River Gorge. I think I come closest to the meaning of life while I'm skiing. Right now, to members of the U.S. ski team, commitment is their meaning of life.
The biggest goal for me ever since I was a young kid was being in the Olympics.
All my life, I've always wanted to represent the U.S., and the most important thing to me right now is to go to the Albertville Olympics.
I think when I was about 8 years old, I decided that Jeremy Novus was going to be an Olympic ski racer.
I want to put it on the edge a little bit more and be more aggressive. I want to take it a step further.
You have to be committed to finding more and more speed.
You have to be confident. You have to know what you want, you have to know how to get it, and you have to know when you've got it. Even in hard times, even in stressing times or defeat times, you have to come back from those adversities and put it into a positive mental outlook and go right after the competition directly. There can be no second place.
There's 4 kids in our family, and we've decided that this is what we want to do, and we've dedicated this part of our lives to trying to be the best that we can be in this sport.
The commitment to skiing continues even after the Olympics. Jimmy Hugo won a bronze medal in the slalom in 1964. A few years later, he is diagnosed as having multiple sclerosis. But Jimmy still continues to ski today, and he's an inspiration to all of us.
I've been lucky to have been brought up in a skiing environment which has given me an appreciation of my health. And when multiple sclerosis came along, I was able to draw a distinction between a chronic condition with no known cause or cure and my health. My past competitive years were all well and fine and exciting, but the challenges that are offered today to get 1/6 of the world's population back on their feet and becoming healthy, active, and fulfilling persons is a challenge that is very rewarding for me in having made a difference in their lives.
To a lot of people, I guess the dance is a love gone bad song, which, you know, that it is. To me, it's always been a song about life, or maybe the loss of those people that have given the ultimate sacrifice for a dream that they believed in, like the John F. Kennedys or the Martin Luther Kings, the John Waynes or the Keith Whitleys. And if they could come back, I think they would say to us what the lyrics of the dance said.
The Meaning of Life will continue with Oprah Winfrey and Kenny Rogers.
Some great sports cars have lived in this driveway. It's got the oil stains to prove it. They were loved and cursed. Finally, they just disappeared. Until Mazda asked, why not build a modern, reliable roadster with the heart and soul of a classic? People say they don't make cars like this anymore. In fact, they never did. The Miata from the new Mazda.
It just feels right.
This is Louis Gossett Jr., thanking you for giving to United Way, because when you gave, you provided the services that helped Susie Dita take her first steps, Donna Jones learn how to read, provided the drug and alcohol rehabilitation program that gave John Thompson back to his daughters, and helped Deborah Kinney and her children find their way home. United Way, it brings out the best in all of us.
It's got shift-on-the-fly four-wheel drive, a 4-liter V6 engine, rear anti-lock brakes. It's the Mazda Navajo, the sports car for sportsmen. Why blow another winter?
At a party for the posh, Jessica finds out how the other half dies. Then...
They were worlds apart until a shocking secret brought them together.
Why don't you want me to find your family?
Starring Emmy winners Tyne Daly and Jenna Rollins. They're no longer looking into The Face of a Stranger, Sunday.
Live Wednesday, it's the Cotton Bowl Parade with hosts Joe Regalbuto and Andrea Joyce. Then it's the Rose Parade with Joan Van Ark and Ted Shackelford, New Year's Day on CBS.
Ladies, would you date this man if he said he was a pro athlete? 100 women did. What else did he want? 48 Hours knows Wednesday.
I believe that
because life is like a classroom, that this whole life experience is just a journey in life lessons, and that if you can learn to look at situations that happen to you as opportunities to learn, opportunities to grow, opportunities to choose love over fear, it makes for a really exciting journey.
There's an old man in our town, and I guess he's been around for years and years. At least it seems that way. As we grow older, the meaning of life seems to change. No one likes to grow old, but as they say, it isn't so bad when you consider the alternative. They also say that 50 is middle age. But how many people do you know who live to be 100? Well, we met a man who is 103, and like a lot of older people, he had some very interesting things to say.
Danny Rogers. I know Will Rogers. I saw Will Rogers a few times, but I don't know Danny Rogers.
You see, older people just have a way of bringing things right back to reality.
We're going to begin our class today with some gentle movements. When I put the music on, the Blue Danube, I want
Katie Wright is a lady who adds more meaning to her life by spending a lot of time with older people.
When I began my work, I had no idea really just how effective it was. But I'm finding out that people that have had strokes can begin talking again by moving their fingers. The greatest joy I have is to just stop for a moment and look around the room and see the joy and the love and the beauty that is created through the dancing.
I love to watch Kate because the dance is just beautiful. It does something to me. It reminded me of home, Bavarian Alps, how we used to dance.
I never have to push my patients. In fact, when I first ask students to come to my class, I tell them they don't have to move anything, just enjoy the music. And they start moving.
I want to dance with her together. I like to dance. I like to dance. Oh, how was nice. How I want to be again a young woman.
Imagine that you will raise out of your wheelchair and walk over to greet your loved one. I think if you felt like you came to this earth and you did everything you could to make it a better place, that is the meaning of life to me.
And 88-year-old Hazel Stout is even more active than that.
This is what holds you and I together. Okay, let's get you off.
We'll make it good and tight.
I never did anything exciting while my husband was alive because he was more the artistic type and liked music and operas and museums, and I did too. It was fun. It was a wonderful life. I'm not the type that can just sit down and knit. It's not my style. What prompted me was my granddaughter. She has been a skydiver, and she says, why don't you do something exciting on your birthday? She says, well, skydive with Rick. I said, well, that does sound exciting. Okay, we'll do it. At 88, it didn't, you know, you don't have too much to lose. Being happy, I think that's the deepest meaning of life, and taking time to say hello to somebody, I think that's what it's all about. Not being too careful. Be a little daring.
You know, I don't know about you, but growing old doesn't bother me. What bothers me is being perceived as old. And as I look at pictures of my grandmother and my grandfather, I think about all of you who give us inspiration and hope for our old age. And I'm just not sure they make them like you anymore.
Try to remember this. You can't help getting older, but you don't have to get old.
I guess out here in the Midwest and what we affectionately call the heartland, there's a very special set of values and principles that are really known and understood only by those who are deeply bonded to the land from which we come. Our nation has forgotten the very vital economic and social role that family farms play in America. I think in the 1980s, as I watched people and how they react, we began to look upon our heroes at that time were the Donald Trumps and the Michael Milkens and the Ivan Boskis, the people that were millionaires and got rich overnight. And we seemed to move away from the simple basic understanding that simple, ordinary working people who work 8 hours a day in a factory or who work 16 hours a day on the farm, they're the real heroes in our society. Those of us who work the ground and till the soil and watch crops grow and watch livestock being born and raised have a special identification, I think, with God's wonders and the plentiful rain and the soil that we've been blessed with. So I think we have a real identification of what really is the meaning of life.
Stay tuned for Paul Rodriguez, Alex Haley, and Hammer.
We hope you're enjoying the program. If you'd like to share your personal meaning of life, we'd like to hear from you. In return for your responses, Mazda will make a donation to the Mobilization for America's Children, a coalition supported by United Way.
The white zone is for immediate...
We didn't design the new Mazda MX-3 to be like apple pie. Jalapenos were what we had in mind. Because if something's not worth having an opinion about it, it's not worth having. And with the only V6 in its class, the MX-3 is one hot chili pepper. Hey, you're not John Doe. Why drive his car? The new MX-3 from the new Mazda.
It just feels right!
How to seduce a woman.
You're a knockout. I don't mean just pretty, no, beautiful. The lips, the mouth, the eyes. If men aren't attracted to you, it's totally because of your abrasive personality.
Thank you.
How to seduce a man.
Flashman, I'm a grown woman. I am not some cow in heat waiting to get poked by the lankiest bull in the pasture.
Northern Exposure, Monday.
I get a kick out of making people happy. I would say that the meaning of life is the key word would be love. To love God. To love yourself. To share love. To enjoy love and to learn how to completely overcome everything with love. I think I enjoy most making others happy, entertaining people. I would say the hope for the future for me is just, I love life so much. I would like to live to sit in a rocking chair and way out on the porch somewhere with the wind blowing and all my gray hair blowing in the wind and watch the sun set, and when I go to sleep for that last time, go to sleep right in that rocking chair with the wind blowing. I think that would be a good inning, the way to close the book.
I grew up in a poor family, and you just can't explain poverty to someone who's never been poor, or despair to someone who's never lived without hope. But at some time in our lives, we all need a little help. And so, I think everyone can understand and appreciate what Dr. Marilyn Aiello is bringing to the most impoverished area in the United States. This is where she found her meaning of life.
Praise the Lord.
take my hand, lead me home, let me stand.
I knew I wanted to serve in the rural South in an area of need. The Delta, the Mississippi Delta, is a very depressed area. The welfare system is probably the largest industry in the state. One of my first home visits, my first experience was almost falling through the porch. When I was in there, my first reaction was, you know, turn the lights on. And the woman said, we don't have any lights.
Did you get your flu shot, or you don't want a flu shot? Oh, you got your flu shot.
That's when I got sick afterwards.
Oh, don't tell me that.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Let me see this hand.
It was kind of hard trying to go to the doctor because, you know, they want the money up front. But when Dr. Ayala came, it was totally different. If you didn't have the money, she waited on you still and waited, and you just pay whatever you could by the month or however you want to pay.
You ready for your flu shot?
In the big picture of who they are, and in the big picture of what this does to them, they rise above all of it.
Was that you when you were a baby?
There's one thing makes me happy. I thank God I'm living. That's one happy thing.
We want to feel that we belong and that people care about us and that we're important.
Everybody treat me like I'm a date. My own relatives, kinfolk.
No, well, don't feel bad.
I wish I had never been born.
Oh, Alex, come on, Alex. Let's go to your house. Come on, let's go to your house. Come on, baby. Come on,
Some
let's go to
people
your
are
house.
so frustrated in their attempt to find meaning, in their attempt to find importance for their lives, that they do crazy things.
Where are they at?
Life is a gift, and it's a gift of time. We all want to leave our mark. We all want to leave an identity, be important within that time. There has to be some importance to why we're here. You know, reach out to the hungry, to the impoverished, you know, to the needy, and to those who need health care.
Your shoulders down?
That's what I'm doing now. That gives my life importance. When there are those who have so much, there does not have to be those who have so little.
Take my hand, lead me on. Praise the Lord, lead me on.
That's beautiful, Willie. That's just beautiful.
Yes, sir.
That's beautiful.
Millions of immigrants have been drawn to the United States by the promises of freedom and a new way of life. And many of them have achieved the American dream while still holding on to their ethnic origins. But for another group of people, coming to America meant giving up their freedom. All of their history, their culture, and their heritage was left on the shores of Africa as they were loaded onto slave ships. For centuries, the lives of African Americans didn't have the same meaning or the same resonance as other Americans who were directly connected to the history of their ancestors. If the meaning of life includes the knowledge of our history, where we came from and who our ancestors were, then I personally know one man who has had a profound effect on the meaning of life for millions of African Americans. Alex Haley, the author of Roots. And while you're probably familiar with his writing, you may not know how Alex got his start, and I don't want to put his business in the street. Well, he was working as a cook in the Coast Guard, and his ship would be out at sea for months at a time, and he had this little hustle on the side, and he made extra money by writing love letters home for the sailors on board at $5 a pop. This worked great. Alex learned how to write, and the sailors' girlfriends thought their men were the most romantic and poetic guys on earth until they got home and started talking just like sailors and not like poets. I don't know how the sailors worked out things with their girls, but people are still in love with the poetry of Alex Haley, and Alex is still in love with the sea.
Now that I'm no longer in the Coast Guard, I'm retired, I go to sea on these ships, cargo vessels. I love the sea. I love big ships. That's where I learned to write over a period of years. When I come on board, I tend to work at night. That's how I started learning, was working at night. And I'll go up on the deck. Now, there's something very special about the deck of a ship at sea at 1:30 in the morning. There are places, there are latitudes on ships where it's almost like an illusion, particularly a full moon night. that moon is out there hanging, it looks so low, you would swear if you could just reach a little further, you could touch it. And you stand there in increasing awe at what you're looking at. These are the heavenly bodies. And as you stand, through the soles of your shoes, you feel a fine vibration. What's causing this is that 18,500 horsepower diesel engine driving this big 640-odd foot young island through the sea. And you are aware of the best of God and the best of man. And that's about as holy as you're going to get on this earth. For me, the meaning of life is find the good and praise it. I like to write something that'll make people feel better in this world of so many downbeat things.
The kid stole that from me. There's a toast that says, may you live as long as you want to, and may you want to as long as you live. I didn't say that. But I want to say, may you all live to be 95. And when you get there, I want to be there to light the candles.